Jason Gunn, thank you very much.
My pleasure.
Appreciate your time. So Oompher is all about inspiring people to do extraordinary things. So what inspired you during your life?
I guess my parents, really, they from the word go, were always, look, give it a go, try something, make some mistakes, and I did, and just keep on going. So to have that support as a child growing up, knowing that whatever wacky thing I'd come up with, plus they let me be me, which I was very lucky, and my brother took a different road in life, a lot smarter than I am, and so we had different paths, same parents, and they celebrated our differences and let us be us and supported us along the way. And I think that support at a family level, it's everything.
Okay, so they were obviously big mentors to you. Is having mentors really important growing up?
I think so. You know, I think that role modelling thing, look, there are people already out there doing what you'd like to be doing, and let's be honest, it's a real shortcut, isn't it? You're not the first person to decide, I want to be on television, or what I really want to do is be on radio. Well, there's a lot of people out there, so I guess the sooner you can find people who have done that, who have made mistakes and learnt from them, read up, find out about them, meet them, talk to them, find out what they've done, and boy, you're going to get to be somewhere a lot quicker.
And have you always been passionate about television and media, or was that something you sort of developed growing up through school? Or
my dad always says, bless him, that sometimes we'd go for a drive in the car and you'd never know who was in the back seat, because I'd be doing different voices and just mucking around, and it was fun. And so I loved entertaining. I can remember as a kid, Dad laughing in the front, and I loved that, not approval, but I just loved that I could make him smile and stuff. And then people would come around home and I'd dress up, as you do, and I would make them laugh and stuff. So I enjoyed that. I didn't know it was going to be television and that sort of stuff. That kind of just happened, and I guess I'm probably at a stage in my career now where I'm going, oh, hang on a minute, how did I get to here, and where do I want to go exactly? So, yeah.
So you're obviously a really creative person. So did you find it hard going through an all-boys school, having that creative flair back in the day?
Yeah, well, fair to say, back in my day, way back in my day, there wasn't a lot of coolness attached to dramatics and the arts and that sort of stuff. So, you know, I mean, my school that I went to was it was heavily sporty. It was heavily sporty. And I love my sports too, love them. But I am just as fascinated and passionate about the arts. So it was. I balanced it with a bit of sport, so I guess I was still okay. But I guess looking back, it annoys me that others weren't given that same support that I was given, which is just ridiculous, because I think going on in life, you know, a lot of people won't go on and play a lot of sports, but some of the things you'll learn from the arts side of things are there for you for life, like improvisational skills, theatre sports. Everyone should learn that. It's just, call it what you like, it's just being able to think on your feet skills, and that'll be used throughout life.
Yeah. What do you see as the flaws in the school system of today?
How long have you got? How long have you got? Because I'm such an expert. I don't know. The school system. Oh, gosh. Here we go. Your time starts now, Jason. I think the subject choices, limited. I just think we need to get, I don't know. I just feel like we're still quite narrow there in what we're into. I knew from an early age what I wasn't into, but I still had to do it. And my options were little. I just feel sometimes we're not teaching life skills to our kids. We're not teaching them boundaries and respect. Like, I want my son to leave school when he's 17, or 18 or 19 or 20, whenever he leaves school. I want him to know what is right or wrong. Hey, it's my job as a parent as well, but I want them to mirror that. I want them to show him where the boundaries are. You know, it's school, like parenting, it's about getting that kid ready for life. And that's about life skills. So, you know, I mean, when I was at school, we learnt French because that's what you did. I wish they taught me to change a tyre and be more assertive. Those were skills I'd learn more than bonjour, où est Sylvie à la piscine, which is où est Sylvie à la piscine? Where is Sylvie? She's at the swimming pool. I've never had to use that yet. I'm 45. But I just wish I'd learned some life skills. I think sometimes in school you go through, you get a certificate that says, well done, you've passed. And then you sort of get to middle age and you find yourself in the self-help section of a bookshop, and it's like, yep, that's a good sign that I really didn't know what I wanted to know by now.
So less algebra and more life skills in that case.
That is exactly it. You know, why are we heading to the self-help section of the bookshop when these are skills that really we should have learnt back at school? Basic things. And look, life is going to give you sometimes. You got to learn to deal with it. You got to roll with the punches. You'll have good days and bad days. You know, it's about self-confidence, dealing with, dealing with bouts of depression or just feeling blah. We didn't talk about that at school anymore, or maybe we did once a month in health. You know, those things should be regular things that you talked about every day, and I just feel like we're not doing it right. We're not doing it right.
And you tell a beautiful story about a man named Tim who dressed up as a cat. Do you want to elaborate on that a wee bit and what people can learn from that?
Okay, so when I was at school, this kid called Tim was to me. He was a real bully, and again, because he was more a rugby player and I was there, doing the acty stuff, which just wasn't cool. And he wasn't a big guy, but he hung with the big kids, which made him safe, scum of the earth stuff. Anyway, so many years later, I'm actually on television and it's going really great, and I'm not married and there's no children, so there's even a bit of spare cash around. And I've got this little cool, ridiculous sports car, which is stupid because that's not using your money wisely. Who cares? Anyway, so I've got this car and I've parked it at the video shop. And video, by the way, you're probably too young, that's before DVD. Anyway, and so I'm taking this video back to the shop and I look across the car park. And this giant car is coming through the car park, and it's like a cat. It's like a giant fluffy cat car, and I'm like, what the hell? And it's coming across the car park, and then it pulls up beside my car. I'm like, wow! And out of this cat car gets this giant cat person in a cat suit. I'm like, what the hell? And I sort of go, oh, hi, and sort of wave, and he sort of puts a paw up, and I head into and I sort of lock my car, and he locks his car. And we head into the shop, and all of a sudden I hear this, Jason. And I think, did you say Jason or Basin? What? I mean, take your hat off. And he takes his hat off, or head, I guess, and there is Tim. And I'm like, oh my God, this just happened. And I just want to stop everything right now and go, maybe there is a God, because he has a sense of humour, and I'm loving what he's doing right now. Tim the bully, dressed as a cat, Jason, who just tried to be Mr. Nice Guy at school, and I win this round. And he's one of those kids, I guess, you can see I'm still passionate about it, so I haven't let it go. I guess he's one of those kids that peaked at school. And if there's one thing I would say to anybody, don't peak at high school. Just get through. Be as good as you can, but don't peak in high school. You don't want to be 30 or 40 and 50 and be nothing, but go, boy, when I was 16... Yeah.
And following on from that, you obviously left school to do what you were passionate about, and he obviously didn't, hence why he's dressed, unless he was passionate about cats.
Well, I was going to say each their own. If he was a cat lover, I guess he succeeded.
Are there enough people following their passions?
I don't think there is really. It's a tough thing, isn't it? And it's a tough thing. There's parental pressure, like parents sort of say, well, look, your dad was a lawyer and I was a lawyer and the business is there or the farm's there, son, So there's a lot of pressure from parents, I get that. But also, I don't know, we have dreams, don't we? And then they get stomped on a bit by ourselves, by our mates, who say, oh, mate, you can't do that. And sometimes we want to do things that aren't the norm. And that's pretty scary. It takes some to go, no, actually, I'm going to do that. But the saddest thing is when you see people who could have been something and they didn't. And the only thing that got in the way, the only thing that stopped them was them. I mean, it's never been easier now to hop on a plane and go overseas. That wasn't an option when I was a child. It wasn't. And if I wanted to be in movies or anything like that, you had to go overseas. Well, now movies are coming to New Zealand to get made. So I'm not being but things are out there. You've got the internet to talk to people, Skype. You've got the world's never been smaller. So options are out there. But no matter who you are or where you are, and I'm still learning this. It's about getting off your ass and actually going to do it. Talk is cheap, and I'm the king of talk. And you got to walk the walk. And I'm 45 years old, and I'm still talking too much. So, I don't sit here as an expert by any means. I really want to get walking. And we've all got to do it.
And whenever I see you always having such a good time, what would you say about fun and how important is fun in life?
Life's too short, isn't it? Life is too short. And sadly, it takes us things like, sick friends or the death of friends, the odd funeral to go, wow, yeah, no, gee, well, yeah, I must sort that out. Fast forward 2 days, we're back to where we were. So, I don't know. Look, I've been lucky. I've worked in television for I've done very well financially out of it. I'm not being showy. I'm just saying, but I also know that's not. I've had some low days, and so money didn't help that. What's the great thing? Money doesn't buy happiness. Though if you're gonna cry, it's good to cry on a Ferrari. Man, I've never had a Ferrari, but I guess that makes sense. But that's not going to fix here, is it? I mean, those are all little fix things. At the end of the day, we all want to be made to feel special, to feel needed, to feel fulfilled, and that doesn't take much sometimes. I know for me, I can make television and feel great, but I can also be down the road at the local old people's home, singing, playing the piano, looking at people going, I'm making a difference. I feel needed. I feel appreciated. I'm giving out to other people. This is as good as it gets.
And you've won hugely fulfilling awards, 2007, 8, 9, Best Presenter, 2007, Funniest Man on TVs. Did you always aspire to achieve extraordinary things?
I don't think I did. I think in my day, there wasn't a self-help section at the bookshop, and there wasn't a lot of people talking about role modelling. There wasn't any of this. People talking about how they've done it. There just wasn't that. So I guess I fumbled along there and stumbled along there on my own way. But I was lucky in television when I started. There was a system, and I role modelled people, and they taught me stuff. And I grew up watching comedians and thinking, and watching them, and I'd study them and look at their timing and go, that is funny. And I guess I'd ask myself, why is that funny? And I'd impersonate them and do things and realise that, really good comedians make it look like that. But there's years of polish go into it, and that's what I love, comedians who take their comedy seriously.
So just quickly, in terms of journalism and broadcasting, young people aspiring to get into it, or they don't have to be young, people in general, what would you say to them? What would be your key advice in terms of journalism and broadcasting tips?
Find out exactly what you want to do. The more specific you can be with your role. Saying I want to be in television is like saying I'd like to travel. Where? I haven't thought about that. So there's $1 million, there's 1,000 jobs in television. Go and try some. Get some work experience. People will say, yeah, sure, go and make coffee. Go and work for nothing. Don't ask for money. Go and work for nothing and find out how television works. Look at people. I go, I like that job. Then come back, get some more experience. Try stuff. Fail at stuff. If you want to make television, grab a camera, go and make stuff. Go and make videos. Send them to people. Say, could you give me some feedback? It's like all the tools are out there between cameras and your little iMac laptops. It's all there. Practice.
So networking's important?
Network's important, but I think go out and do what you want to do. It's like making television's never been simpler. You have a camera, some lights, some makeup, get some friends around, go and make a short film.
So previous shows include the Son of a Gun show, Wheel of Fortune, Dancing with the Stars, The Rich List. Are we going to see the return of any of these big shows?
I think I've come to a stage in my career where I've made other people's shows, particularly the game shows and that sort of stuff. You become a person who stands there and you say things in a show which is someone else's idea. I'm ready to do my own thing now. I'm ready to sell my own waka. Son of a Gun was a bit like that. But like Wheel of Fortune, Dancing with the Stars, love those shows, love them. But it's not my baby. So I'm ready to go and say, look, here I am, here's what I do. You can choose to watch this or not. But yeah, I mean, I'd hope to see entertainment television continue. I'm sick to death of cooking shows and reality shows. It's like, what? Isn't someone going to say, in love with the cooking? Or the reality? But apparently, that's what people are into. That's what the ratings tell us. So look, but that sort of television's dying too. We're all on internet, aren't we? YouTube is shutting down television networks around the world because people are going, don't be telling me when I can watch that show because I'll watch it online now, thank you very much. So I think television is changing and I find that very exciting.
And what are the hobbies outside of work? Is it important to keep a good balance?
Work is work, isn't it? And it's you need to play. And hopefully, if you're like me, work has been play for many years as well. But you've got to step away. And I guess my kids for me are everything. We've got some really nutty kids who are like their father. So, yeah, you've got to laugh. You've got to have people around you who you can laugh out loud with. Like I said before, life's too short. So just find people who, you don't have to be like them, but find someone who makes you see the lighter side of life, that brings out the nutty side of you. Just you need to do, and just get away, because it's like it's just that thing. It's just
escape.
Just escape, and just honestly, just look. Some jobs you have to take seriously, but you don't have to take all of life seriously.
And obviously through the journalism, what's I think made you so extraordinary is you've built up a business as well with your wife Janine. It hasn't just been on TV, you've actually built a business where we are now.
Yeah.
What would you say about entrepreneurship? What's your advice around that?
Marry a woman who knows what she's doing and wears the pants. Stick with her, and people will think you're smarter than you really are.
Fantastic.
Boom. No, I will say this though. We have built Whitebait because it's about the process. So what we did is we got a little sick of travelling and making stuff for other people the way they made it. We were lucky to have the work. This is a place that we go, look, this is how we would make television, and we're all about the process. We believe the process is as important as the final product. We want people to come here and enjoy this. And it's fair to say, I think people do. There's a good vibe here. So that's what we tried to create. And I think, I read a great thing somewhere that said, the first thing you want to do in business is get the right people on the bus. It doesn't matter what you're going to do. You've got to get the right people. Janine's amazing. It's surrounding us and surrounding shows with the right people. Get the right people on board, you can do anything.
So a few quick fire questions to finish. You've done a lot of speaking around leadership. What sums up a good leader?
I think someone who has the be a bit different and say to the crowd, look, trust me, come with me, and you'll be so glad you did.
So if you could give one piece of advice to yourself at age 18, what would have it been?
I've got so much advice I give myself. Trust myself more, try some things, travel more, get your ass on a plane, get overseas, and see the world, and then come back and go, gee, this place that we live in is pretty damn good, actually. But I think it's that thing, just try more things.
What would the 16-year-old boy you were think of the man you've become?
I'd like to think I'd like me. I think so. I think I'd like me. I think I would. I don't think I'm just sitting there thinking, he's okay, yeah. And you know what, I think I could say the 16-year-old me might look at the 45-year-old me and go, yeah, I want to be like him. And I really, honestly, I'm not being smart, but that's not a bad thing.
Okay, yeah, that's great. So what would be the saddest thing you see today's young people screwing up at?
Oh, don't get me started. I just think, yeah.
Summed up in a few words.
Drink, alcohol, drugs. What are you doing? Just, I don't know. And just perhaps a little lack of focus. But that's more parents. I think my generation has created Facebook and Twitter and all that sort of stuff, and we throw it at our teenagers and go, what's wrong with them? Well, we created these things that'll slowly kill their brains. So, I don't know. It's harder now being a teenager than when I was a teenager.
And if you could change one decision you've made, what would that be?
If I could change one decision I've made, oh, it's a goodie. Let me think. Ex-girlfriends? No, I think I did make the right call there. If I could... That's a real tough one, because I don't know if I've made any big mistakes that I'd change, because, of course, as a big fan of Back to the Future, you can't just change one thing, because then you change the whole time continuum. I just think if I could change one thing, I think there's a couple of jobs I took that I wouldn't have on television and a couple of other things, but I went with it, and I knew they weren't right. And I think that's that thing about you've got to back yourself and go...
Gut feeling.
Yeah. You know that TV show? That's It's And thank you for the money, but it's why am I fronting that? And you know it's not good, and you still went and did it, and you got asked in the papers for it, and you thought, yep, I deserve that.
So now that you're growing up, what bits of life are most important?
Oh, growing up, questionable. What's most important? Oh, for me, it's family and kids. And I haven't let go of the idea that I still want to travel overseas and work overseas and stuff. But I've got my beautiful children who are growing up far too quickly, and it's all about them. And at the end of the day now, I'm realising that what I want to be remembered for most is being a great dad. At the end of the day, it's like, you know, the fact that I was your dad, and I was Jason Gunn, and I made some TV, and I had some good years there for a while, and a couple of awards on your cabinet. Doesn't matter, who cares? I just want my kids to go, yeah, my dad was so cool. We laughed together, and hopefully, I can instill in them some great things, and hopefully they can be better at a lot more than I was. Yeah.
So what was the best bit of advice you were ever given, and why?
Best bit of advice, 2 bits. My dad once said to me, bless him, he said, if it's not working for you, this job, there's one that is out there, and don't be afraid to keep trying things until you find what it is. Yeah. And the other great bit of advice would be from my wife. She said, what I do in television, it's not who I am, it's what I do. And sometimes for performers and actors, it's hard to separate the two.
A very open question. What have you learnt?
Wow, what have I learnt? Don't be a Life's all about people. Life's all about people skills. If you're good to people, if you're a good person, life will be good, and people can be and they end up wearing cat suits, driving cat cars.
To finish, Jason, what are your wise words for the people of New Zealand?
My wise words are quite simple, actually. Be kind. Be kind, be nice to people, and I dare you to try and make a difference. And this sounds really heavy, but try and make this world a better place for you being in it. I think it will be. So good luck with that.
Jason Gunn, thank you very much.
Thank you, man. Thanks.
Cheers.